History is filled with names carved into stone, celebrated in books, and repeated in classrooms. Yet countless others were pushed into the shadows. Their achievements were minimized, rewritten, or forgotten entirely, not because they lacked greatness, but because the world was not ready to acknowledge the power they held. From the 1600s onward, women across continents rose against silence, shaping revolutions, saving lives, and challenging the systems built to contain them. Their stories were whispered, buried, or distorted, but they endured through memory, legend, and the quiet persistence of truth. This is a journey into the lives of 5 extraordinary women whose brilliance refused to fade, no matter how hard history tried to erase them. Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz was born in 1650, Pulgada Colonial Mexico, a world where women were expected to remain uneducated and obedient. Yet from childhood, she devoured books in secret, teaching herself Latin, philosophy, and science long before she was allowed to study formally. Her hunger for knowledge was so intense that she begged to disguise herself as a boy to attend school, a request her family denied. Still, she found her own path, eventually joining a convent where she could pursue learning without interference. Within those walls, she wrote poetry, plays, and essays that challenged the intellectual limits placed on women. Her writings questioned hypocrisy, defended women's education, and explored the complexities of faith and reason. Her brilliance attracted admiration from scholars across the Spanish Empire, but it also drew the ire of powerful church officials who believed a woman should not think so boldly. Under pressure, she was forced to silence her voice, sell her beloved library, and abandon her writing. Yet her words survived, carried forward by those who recognized her genius. Today, she is remembered as one of the earliest feminist thinkers in the Americas, a woman who refused to let society dictate the boundaries of her mind. Mary Seacole was born in 1805 Jamaica, to a Scottish soldier and a Jamaican healer, inheriting a deep understanding of herbal medicine and compassionate care. From a young age, she assisted her mother in treating the sick, learning remedies passed down through generations. When news of the Crimean War reached her, she traveled to England and offered her skills to the British Army, only to be rejected repeatedly because of her race. Refusing to accept discrimination as her fate, she funded her own journey to the war front. There, she built the British Hotel, a refuge for wounded and exhausted soldiers. She treated injuries, fed the hungry, and rode into battlefields under fire to rescue the fallen. Soldiers called her Mother Seacole, praising her bravery and kindness. Despite her extraordinary service, she returned home to financial hardship and little recognition. Only decades later did the world begin to acknowledge her contributions. Today, she stands as a symbol of resilience, compassion, and the fight against racial injustice. Nanyehi, known to the English as Nancy Ward, was born around 1738 into the Cherokee Nation and rose to prominence during a time of conflict and upheaval. As a young woman, she fought alongside her people in battle, and when her husband fell, she took up his weapon and led the warriors to victory. This act earned her the title of Beloved Woman, one of the highest honors in Cherokee society. With this role came great responsibility. She could decide the fate of prisoners, influence diplomacy, and guide her people through times of crisis. She used her authority to advocate for peace, believing that survival depended on negotiation rather than endless bloodshed. She warned settlers of impending attacks to prevent unnecessary deaths and worked tirelessly to protect Cherokee land and sovereignty. Her voice carried weight in councils and negotiations, yet her contributions were often overlooked in written histories. She remains a powerful reminder that leadership is not defined by force alone, but by wisdom, empathy, and the courage to seek a better path. Mary Anning was born in 1799 on the cliffs of Lyme Regis in England, a place where the sea carved secrets into stone. As a child, she began collecting fossils to help support her family, unaware that her discoveries would reshape the world's understanding of prehistoric life. She unearthed the first complete ichthyosaur skeleton, followed by a plesiosaur, and countless other fossils that challenged scientific beliefs of the time. Yet because she was a woman and from a poor family, male scientists often took credit for her work. She studied anatomy, geology, and paleontology on her own, becoming an expert despite having no formal education. Visitors traveled from across Europe to learn from her, though many refused to acknowledge her publicly. Still, she continued her work with quiet determination, driven by curiosity rather than recognition. Today, she is celebrated as one of the founders of paleontology, a woman whose discoveries changed science forever. Harriet Tubman was born into slavery in the early 1820s in Maryland, enduring brutality and hardship from a young age. After escaping to freedom, she could have lived quietly and safely, but she chose a different path. She returned to the South again and again, risking her life to guide enslaved people to freedom through the Underground Railroad. Her courage was unmatched. She never lost a single person she led. She used strategy, intuition, and an unbreakable will to outsmart slave catchers and navigate treacherous terrain. During the Civil War, she served as a scout, nurse, and spy for the Union Army, leading one of the first military operations commanded by a woman. After the war, she continued fighting for justice, advocating for women's rights and civil rights until her final days. Though her name is now widely known, the full depth of her bravery and leadership was long overlooked. These women lived in different eras, spoke different languages, and walked different paths, yet they shared a common thread: the courage to defy the limits imposed on them. Their stories remind us that history is not a fixed record but a living tapestry shaped by those who dare to challenge it. For every name we know, there are countless others waiting to be rediscovered: leaders, warriors, scholars, rebels, and visionaries whose impact still echoes through time. As we uncover their stories, we reclaim the truth that was nearly lost and honor the strength of those who refused to be forgotten. Their legacies live on, not in monuments or medals, but in the undeniable proof that one determined woman can change the world.